Hi, I'm Hallie the Homemaker, and this is a video garden update for week 5, and today is June 1st. This is half of my garden here, and what I have growing in it are tomatoes. I have 5 different kinds of tomatoes growing in here. Don't ask me to name them all. I have them written down. Something is getting them. You can see the spots. So I'm reading right now about what it might be and what I can do to fix it. See, some of the tomatoes, a couple of the tomatoes I have on a pole, and that's because when the tomatoes get big, they get heavy and they fall to the ground. So I'm going to end up securing all of these tomatoes up on poles. Back here I have summer squash, I have zucchini, and yellow squash growing. You can see that I have 2 growing in each hole. Whichever plant ends up seeming strongest is the one that I'll keep. I'll pull one of each. Over here is corn. I planted corn several weeks ago and then it froze and none came up. So I replanted and only 3 rows came up. 2 right here and 1 way back there. Don't know why. If birds got it or if something under the ground got them. So I have replanted 2 more rows, and these are about 2 weeks old of growth. So at the base of each one, this week I planted Kentucky Wonder green beans, which will grow up the corn as a pole and provide at the root level oxidation for the corn, which will give healthier corn. I also, in this area where there is no, in between the rows, I planted winter squash. And they will trail along the ground and provide cover, ground cover and moisture control for the corn and the green beans. Here is one single winter squash plant that survived the cold snap after I planted. You can see that it has, it's seeking something to grab onto to trail. As this grows, I will send it into the corn and it will provide ground cover for these outer rows. Here is where I have green beans. I planted 4 rows and then a couple nights later it got down to freezing and I only had 1 single plant come up. That's this one, this massive bushy plant here. Yesterday my new planting came up. These beans here came up yesterday. You can see there's even still a bean attached to this one. So these are bush beans. They won't need to be strung up on poles. They'll stay in a bush, but they'll produce several times. I'll be able to harvest from each of them several times. Over here I have peppers. Back there I have 5 maturing plants of sweet peppers. And then I also have seedlings growing here. I have sweet peppers and jalapeno peppers growing, so I'll end up with about 12 sweet pepper plants and about 6 jalapeno plants. Next to the peppers are carrots. The soil is pretty dense here. It's hard. It's thick. It's really rich. So carrots kind of have a hard time. So I end up with balls, carrot balls, which is kind of interesting but fun for soup. Next to the carrots are radishes. These are just about ready. You can see they're very bushy, very healthy, and almost ready to harvest. You can see the tip of a radish. So in the next few days I'll probably harvest this row and then I'll just replant radishes. We can eat radishes all summer long. Next to the radishes are the onions. These are purple onions, and I don't know if you can see the ball of the onion growing there. So I have also a grape plant that survived I had 2 planted and then they got run over by a lawnmower. So this one came up. I was so surprised this year, but it won't produce anything because there isn't another one for it to cross-pollinate with. But next to it is a rogue blackberry plant that just popped up in the middle of my yard. So I secured just a little fence around it so that no one would run them over with the lawnmower again. And hopefully we'll get some blackberries out of that. speaking of, back here is my humongous blackberry plant that I found this year, which is why this looks like a jungle. You can see all the little blackberries getting ready to grow. There's some more back there. There's some here. So I'm really looking forward to blackberry jellies and blackberry pies. This way I have my lettuce. I'm about to thin out this container and just let 4 or 5 lettuce plants just be real healthy, and we should be able to harvest off of them a few times. These are some seeds. I have watermelon and cantaloupe, winter squash, and cucumbers, which was something else that didn't survive the frost. There is broccoli growing, some more tomatoes, which I have no idea what I'm going to do with if they live, because I already have so many. This is eggplant, and then I have some herbs back there. Here is my 4-year-old humongous horseradish bush that's going to take over the world one day. And I can probably put some tomatoes next to it. I do a lot. And over here by my compost is my blueberry bushes. I have little blueberries growing there. And on the other side, some right there. So that is my garden update for week 5.